Hey, Flourishing in Faith fam, it's Alexis here. And if you're on a daily walk, drive to work, or simply just making dinner, I pray that these conversations bring glory to God and draw you closer to Him. I decree that your relationship with Jesus will flourish and fruit will be the evidence of that. So, welcome to Season 3. It is just me, as if you haven't got caught up on Season 3 and why the transition of Season 3 is coming a little bit earlier, go to the last episode and it talks about why Rachel left the podcast. We love Rachel and we're so excited for what God's doing in her life, but God's gonna continue to use this podcast, and I'm very excited for where He's gonna take it. So today, the Lord impressed on my heart to talk about flourishing in your faith. Obviously, this is the topic and the main idea of this podcast, but how can we flourish in our faith if we do not abide in Jesus? And John 15 was something that I was drawn to whenever I was preparing for this in my prayer time, and the Holy Spirit was like, John 15. So I said, okay, I'm going to go to John 15, see what the Lord wants to teach me through that and wants to teach us. So we're going to read a little bit of that. So, John 15:1. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. I need to repeat that because that's so wrong. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. This is Jesus talking, by the way. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, He takes away, and every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Already you are clean because of the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you, unless you abide in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do no thing. And then there's more, obviously, but I'm going to stop there at verse 5. So, the Lord calls us to abide in Him. And we want to flourish in our faith, but the key to that is abiding in Jesus. And like it says, if it bears fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. Our faith, in flourishing in our faith, if you want to flourish, you have to go through a season of pruning. And it's honestly a daily thing. It's sanctification. It's God just teaching you and making Him and creating you to be more like Him every day. And that's something that we should desire, not be scared of, but something that we should desire. The Lord wants to flourish your faith. And if you want a desire to have the flourishing of your faith, like we talk about even in the title of this podcast, is you have to have a relationship with Jesus and to abide in Him daily. We are never going to be perfect. That's why having a daily time with the Lord is something that is so pivotal for your faith and so pivotal for your life. Daily remembering what God has, brought you through and brought you to. Daily reading His word and learning more, and daily praying and communicating with the Lord is something that is going to help you to flourish in your faith. It is going to help you to have more trust in the Lord. It's going to help you to have more patience with the Lord because of the things that the Lord's going to bring you through and prune you in a certain way. So, abiding in Jesus was something that stuck out to me when I was reading this, and I'm looking down at my Bible. Something that stuck out to me is that every branch in me that does not bear fruit, He takes away. Every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes, that it may bear more fruit. So, what is this fruit that we're talking about? What is this fruit? And let's go to Galatians 5. And Galatians 5:22 says, "For the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law." And this is the fruit of the Spirit. the Bible, Jesus is talking about how he's the true vine, and his father is the vine dresser. And then the fruits are things that we bear from the Spirit of God and dwelling with the Spirit of God. And I think we are all a part of the vine. We're a part of the branch of a vine, and the Lord's going to prune. He's going to take the things that don't bear fruit and take it away. And I think that's a part of faith. It's a part of growing in your faith in your daily walk with Jesus. It is a part of your faith. You have to be willing to let the Lord take away what he needs to take away and prune what he needs to prune, so that you're able to bear more fruit in due time. Because the Lord knows what you need. He knows where you're at in your placement, and where you're at in your relationship with him, and where you're at even just in a spiritual sense. So he knows where you're at. So he knows what you need. So this all kind of, Psalms 23 was tapping me on the shoulder as well when I was reading over all this. So let's go to Psalms 23. I know it by heart, but I'm going to read it so I don't misinterpret the word. Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So it's a walk. It's the daily path. I love how in Psalms 23, he's like, the Lord is my shepherd. He makes me lie down. He leads me. He restores me. He leads me. And we walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I will not fear, because you are with me. You prepare a table before me. You anoint my head with oil. And then all the days of my life, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It's something that is going to be daily, you walking it out, and daily. It's a daily thing. It's leading, every guiding step is from the Lord. And we often, as new Christians or as people that are finding faith in Jesus, we often go of our way instead of God's way. And we don't ask for the counsel of the Lord, even for the littlest things. So I encourage you, as you're growing in your faith, ask the Lord even just the simplest things of guidance, like, should I wear this piece of clothing today? Should I, go out with this friend today? Would that be wise? Asking the Lord just consciously, because maybe that's not what the Lord wants you to do today. Maybe that's not what the Lord wants you to represent today. And you would never know unless you asked. Because he's the one that should be leading you. He's your shepherd. He's the good shepherd. And he's the one that's going to lead and guide you ultimately. Whether we like it or not, as Christians. But it's something about abiding with him and having it be willingly and having it be just like, yeah, I walk with the Lord. I don't walk with anything else. I walk with the Lord. And that's how I'm going to flourish in my faith. I'm going to walk with Jesus. It's a daily walk. And that reminds me, I'm going to go back to Galatians 5. It reminds me in Galatians 5, I passed by Galatians. Galatians 5:25 says, if we live by the Spirit, let us also keep in step with the Spirit. I love that. It's keeping in step with the Spirit. It's not veering off the path. It's like tunnel vision. We have to keep tunnel vision to the Spirit, and not let the world sway us left and right. Not let our emotions sway us left or right. And then verse 16, even before that, it says, but I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. And we often, as Christians, whenever you get closer and closer to Jesus, you're going to despise the world a little bit more, because you know that it leads you to destruction, and you know that it leads to destruction. You know the enemy wants you to obviously kill, steal, and destroy. We know that. So if we walk by the Spirit, you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. And it's all these things that are part of a walk. Do you want to get rid of temptation? Do you want to, not get rid of temptation, but, try to get rid of sin and try to get rid of all these things that are bad, that you're tormenting you or battling you in your spirit. Walk by the Spirit. Not by our flesh, walk by the Spirit. Not what we feel, but walk by the Spirit. Stay in the Spirit. And you may ask me, Alexis, how do I stay in the Spirit? Like, what does that mean? It means a daily surrender to Jesus, a daily surrender to your will, your way, whatever we want to do. Just surrender to Jesus and say, Lord, I'm going to walk by your Spirit. Lord, Holy Spirit, speak to me and let me know where I need to go, what I need to say. I'm willing and able. Having a willing and able spirit is so wonderful. I think the Lord appreciates that. And just being open and honest and being vulnerable with Jesus every day is all these things are going to help you flourish in your faith. So as we enter season 3 of the podcast, I wanted to just encourage you with that, and that we can grow in our faith and we can flourish in our faith. So I want to know your opinion on something. Comment down below anything that you have questions about, any topics that you may be confused about in the Bible, or just anything that we could talk about in the next season of the podcast that I could maybe bring a couple friends on to talk about and all these things. So comment those down below, and if you're on Apple or Spotify, DM the podcast Instagram those things, and we will see if we can get to those wonderful topics, because we want to help you to understand some things, because a lot of things, they're in the book, but sometimes we don't understand it. So I'd love to help you guys with the knowledge of the Holy Spirit to just learn some new things. So thank you for joining me on this episode of the podcast. It was a little bit of a short episode, but I'm very happy that you got to join me. And I hope that this will encourage you to get closer to Jesus and make a daily practice of all these things. So I love you guys. Subscribe, like, comment, leave a review on Apple or Spotify podcasts. And I will see y'all next week for the season 3, episode 2. Bye, y'all.